What's up, Archons? I'm Flightless Pheasant, and today I want to run you guys through my personal experience at the Rochester Vault Tour. I want to go through all of the day's events and all the things that happened on the various days to me personally. If you're looking for a review of the actual results of the tournament itself, Ghost Galaxy will probably put out one of those sometime very soon, so you should keep a lookout for that. But this one's going to be focused on me and my experiences. But before we get into all of that, I'm a huge fan of KeyForge, and if you are too, then please like, subscribe, and hit the bell, as I'll be bringing you even more lore from KeyForge and the Crucible. So just like last year, the Rochester Vault Tour was hosted by Millennium Games in Rochester, New York. It's a really cool space. I highly recommend it. They did a great job. So day one was sealed. We had everybody register and get their decks given out to them. There were a little less than 50 people who were participating in the whole event. They let us know that one of us was going to be opening something really special that was going to be for a tournament later in the week. And so that was really cool. But I didn't open that, so let's take a look at what I did open. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through the decks that I opened and the choices that I made. And we're going to see how that all worked out afterwards. So this is the first deck I opened. This was Litvijo, the champion of the Stronghold, and this was the best deck by quite a bit of the three that I opened, which is a little unfortunate, because as you can see, it's only about a 73 SAS, and that's kind of the top end of what I was able to pull. But I did identify this Mars pod as being really good. Not like incredible, but like really good. Zip the Implanter, Destroy Them All, Doctor's Loxifrex, with a house enhancement of Doctor's Loxifrex. A Logos card got a house enhancement. Yeah, like there were some things in here. Bartos the Ruiner, a couple of Watney's calculations, and an Intentional Discharge. And I was really hoping that Intentional Discharge, Zip the Implanter, Doctor's Loxifrex would be good, and it wasn't bad, but it was a little hard to kick. Initially, I did not take anything else from this deck. The Dispod is okay, but not great. The Logos Pod's pretty good, and I knew it was pretty good, but I kind of wanted to go in a different direction, at least at first. So I didn't take anything else. I just took the Mars Pod. And then the second deck is Jester Lot Genmeat. Initially from this one, I took the Geistoid Pod, which apparently was a mistake, and I can kind of agree. I was sort of trying out to see if I could make Oroscope work, and it had a ton of enhanced capture pips. You can see 2 on Wellstring, 1 on Summoned Council, 1 on All Hands on Deck. I was really hoping to get some Amber control out of this pod. Apparently it just wasn't quite there. But I did also see that this Brobnar pod was pretty good, and ID that I might want that later. But it was a little iffy because it was really, really creature dependent, and I didn't know how much I wanted to depend on my creatures, so I put that one aside as something I might try, but I didn't originally grab it. So I grabbed this Geistoid Pod. I skipped the Skyborn entirely. It didn't look good enough. I mean, Dex of KeyForge says it's fine, but nah, I wasn't really feeling it. And then the last deck I opened was Browbeater Minh Dazfend, and from this one I initially took the Dispod, which this Dispod I actually like a bit. Some good disruption. It's messing things up a little bit. It's really giving people a bit of trouble. I didn't like this Geistoid Pod, and it says it's about the same as the other one, and I didn't like the Quiden Pod either. So I ended up playing initially Dis, Geistoid, and Mars. I lost my first game, but it was kind of close, and I was like, I could change my lineup, but I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like I should just keep playing it. So I played my second game, and I won, which felt like validation. And then I lost in my third game. And when I lost in my third game, I was like, all right, let's mix it up. Let's try something different for second Amber. And the big change I made was I grabbed this Brobnar pod, dropping my previous Geistoid pod. And I dropped the Dis pod to grab this Logos pod. And then I was running Logos, Mars, Brobnar. And that worked so much better. So much better. The Brobnar just flew out of my hand. I went 3-0 in second Amber, which felt really good. and was enough to get me a pretty decent number of second amber prizes. But unfortunately, I did get knocked out of the main tournament on round 3. So again, just can't seem to quite get myself a positive record in the main tournaments. Day 2 was Archon and Alliance. I had pulled an Archon deck the day before that was my Vaultmaster 2025 deck that came with my goodie bag that looked pretty interesting. And so I said, you know what? I wasn't necessarily going to play Archon initially, but since I opened this and I think this might be really good, I'm going to try this out and see what I can do with it. So this is the Vaultmaster 25 deck that I opened on day 1 that I thought, yeah, okay, let's see what this can do in Archon. So this is Nazmoka Sultan Master the 18th. And there were a few things about this deck that really drew my attention to it. In particular, the Geistoid has 2 Atomic Destabilizers and 2 Phantasmal Visits, which I thought was awesome. The rest of the pod is not, like, incredible, but it's not bad at all. But, like, the idea of being able to use an Atomic Destabilizer on a creature and then use Phantasmal Visit to lock it down and then archive the Phantasmal Visit to do again was really, really appealing to me. And beyond that, it also has a Logos pod that is kind of scary. So this Logos pod uses 2 Igors and 2 phase shifts. Which basically means that this Logos pod is geared towards letting me do what I want to do when I want to do it, which is super duper good. It also had a Eureka, and it had Code Monkey to get the 2 Igors into my archive. It had Ganymede Archivist and a Edie. Like, it was just pretty good, and I definitely got to use it to force some key costs up and make my opponents do things they didn't want to do. It was pretty much the theme of this whole deck, was just make my opponent do things they don't want to do, you know? And then the Unfathomable was not bad either. I ultimately decided that I actually kind of like it, because between Abyssal Sight, which let me look at my opponent's hand and take a card out that I didn't like, Adult Swim, which was a board wipe, Catch and Release, which was a board wipe, and Maelstrom, which is a board wipe. I just had a lot of control over what was on the board and what wasn't. I also got a lot of use out of Hukaru Icefin, because he's a great first turn play, and I had 2 of them. And then Sybil Waymare was also surprisingly easy for me to pull off between my board wipes putting cards on top of my opponent's deck, and also having a Bubbles to do that as well. And the deck ran a Trawler, which is just genuinely good. And I was able to get haunted pretty easily and pretty reliably between having a Boo Ingeistoid and also having a Hallowed Eve Festival, and the Igors would get me haunted pretty quickly. Like, this deck just really clicked. It really hung together pretty well. But as you can see over here, the problem that I ran into was my expected Amber was no good. No good at all. And my artifact control is limited to being able to exhaust artifacts, which is something, but that didn't end up really being the biggest problem. So, I lost both of my first 2 games playing in the main tournament, but both of those games were very long, and in both games I made my opponents do things they really did not want to do in order to keep my lock from holding them down. And almost always they were able to get rid of the Atomic Destabilizers, but putting an Atomic Destabilizer on something and then using Phantasmal Visit to stun and exhaust it means that whatever it is you're going to do to kill that creature is going to be something awkward and painful that you're not going to really feel good about, which I thought, you know, was actually, I thought people weren't going to be able to figure it out as often as they could, but they did. It was just really, really annoying. And then I went into Second Amber, where I played 3 more games, and I won 2 of them, one of which went to time, which all of my games came really close to going to time. And I lost the 3rd one, which was technically the second one. So first one I played, I won. The second one I played, I lost. And the third one I played, I won. Which got me even more Second Amber prize tickets. And you guessed it, even more Second Amber prizes, which, you know, I'm totally happy about. But yeah, this is the deck I decided to play in Archon. I had other decks that were better rated, with which I was more practiced, but I don't know. This just felt like the thing to do. Plus, this one now has an accolade for being a contender, and I think that's really neat that there's a 2025 Vaultmaster deck out there that's definitely going to have that contender accolade. So the other big event on day 2, which I would be remiss if I didn't mention, was that they did a Prophetic Visions invite-only mini tournament using a single box of Prophetic Visions. That's right, they broke it out of the vault. I didn't get any pictures because I'm terrible at B footage. I apologize, guys. And I had multiple chances to win my way in using second Amber prize tickets and did not. So I don't have a deck to show you, unfortunately. You guys will just have to wait until the shipment is fulfilled and I'm able to open my deck, my official decks when they get here. But yeah, sorry I didn't get any footage, and sorry I don't have a deck to show you. That would have been super cool. I can still talk to you about day 3 when we did the Masters of the Vault mini tournament. This was a Vaultmaster deck only sealed tournament, so you had to have a brand new sealed deck to play. So I did open another Vaultmaster 2025 deck to play in that tournament, and I can show you guys that and tell you a little bit about how that went. So this is the deck that I opened for the Masters of the Vault mini tournament. This is Benzer the Savvy Vaultmaster. There are some things about this deck that I thought I would like. In particular, the Mars Pod caught my eye for having 2 Zookeepers, 2 Yandy Links, and 2 Senwix the Bold, which didn't seem like it was bad. In fact, it seemed like that could be really, really good. And it wasn't bad, but with just the 1 Mars first, it was a little hard to make it go. If I could get it to go, it would go really well, and that was like my best house for sure. But my other 2 houses were just not there, and I'm really surprised at how highly rated they're rating them. So my Shadows was no good at all. I have never before opened a Magda the Rat deck, and I hate Magda the Rat. Hater. Absolutely hater. No redeeming qualities. 0 out of 10. I don't understand why you would ever in your life play this card. She's just garbage. I'm disappointed in her for existing. Beyond that, I had 3 Hugger Muggers, which is like one of the worst steal effects in Shadows. So, yay. I did have a Ronnie Wrist Clocks, which is good. I had a couple of hit and runs, but like, what am I going to use hit and run on? Magda the Rat? That's a net 0. Hugger Mugger? If I'm not behind, that's a net 0. So Ronnie, I guess, but only if I have him. I also had a Bullet Eye. That never happened. Subtle Chain. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't do anything. Like, it just moved Amber around, but I never got to keep it or use it. It was just bad. It's just really bad. 3 Hugger Muggers is not great. 2 hit and runs with nothing to bounce, and a Magda the Rat to just take up space in my hand for no useful purpose. Yeah. Can you tell I didn't really like this deck? The Unfathomable had some potential. There's a Tongi Mongi in there. There's an Abyssal Sight. There's a Bubbles. I managed to get the Numa Leeches to work, which is crazy because they basically never work. There's a Covetous Hema. I had a General Sherman, which I was like, okay, that's a weird board wipe that maybe I can use. No, couldn't use it. I just, like, the big issue turned out to be that the expected Amber here is really, really low. The efficiency is absolutely abysmal. Like, I couldn't get anywhere. I couldn't make anything happen. And so I lost my first 2 games, and when I went to sit down to play my 3rd game, the player I was playing against was like, hey man, my deck's a clunker, I don't want to play it. And I was like, hey man, my deck's a clunker, I don't want to play it. So we played something else entirely because, yeah, I don't really think this deck's got much in the way of redeeming qualities. So it was kind of a bummer way to end my Sunday, but yeah. So in spite of a pretty poor performance in the main tournaments, I actually did pretty well in the side events, barring Sunday, and managed to accumulate quite a few prize tickets and won 3 different prize decks, all of which I did deck openings for on my channel, so please go take a look at those. But they were a Vault Masters 2023 deck, which is pretty cool, because those are a little hard to come by at this point. A Store Championships special bordered Grim Reminders deck, so that one's also really cool. That was Store Champs 2024. And a Vault Master 25 that was geotagged for Rochester, which is awesome, because, like, those are super cool, and I don't usually win geotag decks, because you gotta, like, win games to get those. So, like, it was cool to get one. But yeah, I had fun. I played a lot of games. It was really, really good. I really liked seeing everybody there. It was a smaller crowd than sometimes, but everybody was having a lot of fun, and in spite of not doing super great in the main tournaments, I still feel like it was really good. It was nice to see that Amber Skies was the sealed for Rochester, because I felt like we did need at least one more of those. I don't know if Roseville will be or not. I'm leaning towards probably yes, because I don't think Prophetic Visions is quite that ready yet. But I think Portland will be Prophetic Visions, because that one's just far enough out that I think it will be. But yeah, I had a great time. Thank you so much, Millennium Games, for hosting. Thank you so much, Ghost Galaxy, for putting on a great event. If you're looking forward to more stuff from me, I got more stuff coming on the horizon, so just keep your heads up, be prepared for that. But that's all I have for you today. So until next time, later, Archons.